Welcome to my channel Worth Old Coins. Today is best top 4 coins. Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. Top 1. The 1965 American 1-cent coin, popularly known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, represents a significant period in the history of U.S. coinage, one shaped by political symbolism, economic transition, and evolving minting practices. Struck entirely in bronze, a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. The 1965 penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.5 millimeters, 0.75 inches. It features a plain edge and was minted in large quantities, over 1.49 billion pieces at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time. Importantly, no U.S. coins from 1965 through 1967 bear mint marks. Regardless of their actual mint of origin, this was a deliberate decision by the U.S. Mint to discourage coin hoarding during a national coin shortage caused by the rising value of silver and speculation among collectors. Though silver was never used in cents, the policy applied across denominations to simplify circulation and reduce collector-driven disruption. The obverse front of the 1965 cent features the famous right-facing bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This design commemorated the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and was the first time a U.S. president appeared on a circulating American coin. Lincoln is portrayed in a dignified, solemn profile with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," along the top edge, Liberty on the left, and the date 1965 on the right. The reverse back features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the wheat ears reverse that had been used from 1909 to 1958. This design, created by Frank Gasparro, offers more than just a depiction of the Washington, D.C. Memorial. If viewed closely, a tiny statue of Lincoln can be seen between the columns, making it one of the rare U.S. coins to feature the same person on both sides. Above the memorial is the national motto, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one with United States of America, curved around the top, and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. The historical context of 1965 further enhances the coin's numismatic significance. The mid-1960s were a time of change in both the American economy and the U.S. Mint. That year, the U.S. government was dealing with a major coin shortage, driven in part by rising silver prices that led to widespread hoarding of silver coins. To address this, the Mint removed silver from the dime and quarter, starting in 1965, and switched to clad compositions. While the penny did not contain silver, it remained copper-based and unchanged in composition, but the broader coinage reforms influenced the way all coins were struck, distributed, and marked. As mentioned, mint marks were omitted between 1965 and 1967, and proof coin production was temporarily halted, replaced by special mint sets, SMS. Starting in 1965, for collectors, these SMS coins had a satin-like finish, but were not as polished as proof coins. The 1965 Lincoln Cent was also the first SMS penny, though it is often confused with regular circulation coins. Due to its subtle differences, SMS versions are slightly sharper in detail and may show smoother surfaces and stronger luster, though grading and authentication by experts are usually required to distinguish them definitively. Top 2. The 1974 D1 cent coin, minted in Denver, Colorado, is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, one of the most iconic and longest-standing coin designs in American numismatic history. Like all Lincoln Cents minted from 1959 to 2008, the 1974 D penny features the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse and the classic Victor David Brenner portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. It is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a reddish-brown color when uncirculated. The coin weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and features a plain edge. The obverse shows Lincoln facing right with the motto, "In God We Trust," inscribed above his head, Liberty on the left, and the date, 1974, with the mint mark D for Denver, on the right. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Aspero, with the inscriptions United States of America above E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one just above the memorial, and 1 cent below. A fascinating detail about this design is that a tiny statue of Lincoln can be seen seated inside the memorial if you closely inspect the coin making. Lincoln appear on both sides, a unique trait in world coinage. The 1974 D penny is noteworthy for being part of a pivotal year in American coin history. That year, the U.S. Mint was actively researching alternatives to the traditional copper alloy due to rising copper prices. In fact, aluminum cents were experimentally struck in 1974 as potential replacements for copper coins. However, the aluminum cent plan was scrapped due to opposition from the vending machine industry and health concerns raised by doctors. X-rays and aluminum coins in the body could interfere. As a result, all 1974 D pennies released for circulation were copper-based. Interestingly, one known 1974 D aluminum cent is believed to have survived despite being ordered destroyed, making it an extremely rare and legally contested coin, not to be confused with the standard 1974 D bronze cents that are extremely common. The Denver Mint produced an enormous number of these coins, over 4.2 billion, making the 1974 D Lincoln cent one of the most common coins ever minted in U.S. history because of this high mintage. Circulated examples are extremely easy to find and are typically worth only face value unless they are in exceptional condition or feature an error. High-grade uncirculated coins, designated MS65 red or better, are collectible with values ranging from $5 to $20 or more, depending on quality and certification. Collectors especially value coins with bright red luster, strong strikes, and no signs of wear, corrosion, or spotting, while the 1974 D cent doesn't feature the dramatic doubled die obverses that appear in some other years. There are die varieties, die cracks, asterisk off-center strikes, and struck through errors that appeal to error coin collectors. One subtle variety includes a 1974 D repunched mint mark RPM, where the D was punched twice into the die and appears doubled. These types of coins are identified with magnification and can sell for modest premiums from a historical perspective. The 1974 D penny circulated widely during a time of economic struggle, political scandal, and cultural transformation in the United States. The country was in the midst of the Watergate scandal, which eventually led to President Richard Nixon's resignation in August 1974. Inflation was high. The oil crisis of the 1970s was worsening, and the economy was sliding into recession. In this environment, even the penny had symbolic value. Citizens debated whether it was still economically viable to produce such a low-denomination coin in a time when its metal content nearly equaled its face value. Though the penny remained in production, the debate continued for decades. The 1974 D cent therefore serves not just as currency, but as a historical artifact, a tangible piece of a turbulent but important time in American life. Top 3. The 1972 D Lincoln Memorial Cent, a bronze 1-cent coin minted in Denver, stands as both a continuation of America's longest-running coin series and a reflection of the country's broader economic and historical context. In the early 1970s, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, this coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and features a plain edge. Over 2.66 billion of these coins were produced at the Denver Mint in 1972, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located just beneath the date on the obverse side. the front obverse of THF. The coin features the iconic right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to mark Lincoln's 100th birth anniversary. This portrait has appeared continuously on the U.S. 1-cent coin ever since, making it the longest-running coin design in American history. The obverse also includes the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to his left, and the date 1972 with the D mint mark. To the right, on the reverse side, the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, an architectural symbol of national unity and a tribute to Lincoln's legacy. Designed by Frank Gasparo, above the building appears the motto "E pluribus unum," Latin for "out of many, one," while the words "United States of America" curve around the top edge and 1 cent is boldly inscribed at the bottom. If closely examined, a tiny seated statue of Lincoln is visible inside the memorial between the columns, making this one of the few coins in the world to depict the same individual on both sides. From a historical standpoint, the 1972 D penny was struck during a period of significant monetary and political change. America was entrenched in the Cold War, recovering from the turbulence of the 1960s and beginning to confront inflation and rising metal prices. The rising price of copper in the 1970s led the U.S. Mint to experiment with alternative materials later in the decade, but the 1972 D cent still contains full bronze composition, making it part of the last generation of true copper pennies before the transition to copper-plated zinc in 1982. In terms of collectability, the 1972 DY is a common date due to its enormous mintage. Circulated examples are readily found and typically valued at face value. However, collectors seek uncirculated MS65 or higher examples, particularly those with full red luster designated road by grading services such as PCGS and NGC, which can command higher prices, typically between $5 and $20 or more, in pristine certified condition. Though the 1972 Philadelphia cents are famous for the double die obverse DDO error, this error does not appear on the 1972 D issues. That said, minor varieties and errors do exist for the Act 10 ver issue, including die cracks, cuts off center strikes, and struck through grease errors, all of which can increase value based on severity and visibility. The 1972 D Lincoln cent is also a favorite among those assembling complete day-tanned mint sets of Lincoln Memorial cents, especially in high grades. It also appeals to those who appreciate the coin for its symbolism, representing a president known for unity, emancipation, and integrity, reflected in the grandeur of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. As one of the most widely used coins in the U.S. monetary system throughout the 20th century, this penny would have passed through the hands of millions of Americans during the Nixon administration, a time of social transformation, space exploration, and shifting economic policy. Today, the 1972 D cent remains a staple of everyday coinage, yet within its copper shell lies a piece of American heritage, simple, enduring, and quietly powerful. Top 4. The 1960 United States 1-cent coin, commonly called the Lincoln Memorial cent, stands as a distinctive and historically significant coin in the long-running Lincoln cent series, not only for its design and composition, but also for its varieties, minting history, and cultural relevance. Struck in an era of optimism and Cold War tensions, this coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing approximately 311 grams and measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter. It has a plain edge and was struck at both the Philadelphia Mint No Mint mark and the Denver Mint with a D mint mark beneath the date. The obverse front features the classic right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, originally sculpted by Victor David Brenner and first used in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday. Surrounding Lincoln's bust are the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above Liberty on the left and the date 1960 on the right. the reverse back of the coin. Introduced the previous year in 1959, features a detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. designed by Frank Gasparo. Above the memorial is the motto E pluribus unum, the words United States of America across the top rim and 1 cent at the bottom. A small yet historically rich detail is visible when the reverse is examined closely. A tiny figure of Lincoln is seated inside the memorial, making this coin one of the few in the world to depict the same individual on both sides. What makes the 1960 Lincoln cent particularly notable among collectors is the existence of 2 major date varieties, the small date and the large date versions. These varieties occurred at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints and are easily distinguishable by the shape and positioning of the numerals in the date. On the small date variety, the digits are more compact, with the 0 in 1960 appearing taller and narrower, while the 9 and 6 are shorter and rounder. In the large date version, the numbers are more spread out, with a wider and more open 0. These differences, though subtle to casual observers, have been of great interest to numismatists for decades. Among these varieties, the 1960 small date sent from the Philadelphia Mint is the most sought after, especially in uncirculated condition, as it had a lower relative mintage and was hoarded less than its large date counterpart. Collectors began recognizing these varieties shortly after their release, leading to widespread speculation and heightened demand, sometimes referred to as the small date craze of 1960. Additionally, the 1960D small date and large date cents also saw considerable attention from collectors. Interestingly, a 1960D over DDD repunched mint mark variety also exists, which features a secondary impression of the D mint mark slightly offset, making it another point of interest for error collectors. These minting varieties, repunched mint marks, are PMs and double die obverses or reverses, though less dramatic than in other years, contribute to the appeal of 1960 cents in the Lincoln Memorial series. Most circulated 1960 cents, both small and large date, are worth only face value, but uncirculated examples, specially red road specimens graded MS 65 or higher, can command values from $5 to over $100, depending on rarity, and eye appeal. Coins certified by grading services such as PCGs or NGC, particularly those with full red designations and notable varieties, are highly collectible. The cultural and historical context of 1960 further deepens this coin's significance. That year marked the beginning of a new decade in American history, characterized by the election of John F. Kennedy, the ongoing Cold War, the Civil Rights Movement gaining momentum, and the space race escalating. Amidst such pivotal developments, the 1960 penny remained a humble but essential object in everyday American life. It would have been used in vending machines, telephone booths, and store registers across the country, widely passing through the hands of millions of Americans during an era of transformation. The coin's durability and timeless design have allowed many 1960 cents to survive in circulation to this day, with some still bearing their original reddish copper sheen if preserved in mint rolls, coin sets, or forgotten. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.